We're here today to inaugurate the Ilana and Pascal Mantoux wing for stem cell research at the Weizmann Institute of Science, where Dr. Jakub Hanna is performing his work. And I'd like to take this opportunity to also welcome some other special guests, namely the parents of Jakub Hanna, Haifa and Hani Hanna. Thank you very much for joining us. And actually, I'd like to thank you also, Haifa and Hani, for, I know there is some biology involved in creating children, but there's also some culture and some education. And I really want to thank you for the education, culture, and vision that you've given to your children. And I dare to say children because I do believe that you have succeeded to do that in more than one, but Jakub is really outstanding. The project we're going to see has been made possible by the generosity of our friends, Ilana and Pascal Mantoux. And we've always been very fortunate for the last few years to have Pascal and Ilana with us as partners, I would say, in scientific discovery. They have contributed to other endeavors of an institute, for example, or what you call collaboration with clinical work at the Sheba Medical Center, where these researchers are actually exploring cutting-edge research in the area of pancreatic cancer, glaucoma, brain cancer, and even more. Now, Ilana and Pascal came to the institute several years ago, I think 4 or 5 years ago. And I have to admit that this is a very special couple. They are very special people because probably for the very first minute, there was an immediate deep understanding of how these things would work. And I think the reason is because both Ilana and Pascal have what I would call this famous Weizmann culture, which is be focused on the real issue. Your wing, which will be dedicated in a minute and will go down to the lab, is dedicated in the memory of Ilana and Pascal's parent. And as I say, this is where Dr. Jakub Hanna is conducting his research. You'll hear more about Dr. Hanna, but I'll say one thing that I'm sure will blow on you. It is the fact that Dr. Hanna was recently presented in the Globes magazine as one of the most promising scientists worldwide. He came to the Weizmann Institute a year and a half ago, and he has a unique combination of training in immunology and medicine that allow him to be in a unique position to combine embryonic stem cells biology with immunology to address basic biological questions. His main focus is on induced pluripotent stem cells, or what we call iPS. These man-made cells have regenerative properties similar to those of embryonic stem cells. They're created from adult stem cells without using eggs or any fetal materials. As you know, iPS cells offer major promises for what we call regenerative medicine, and this is because they can be generated from patient's own cell. So in terms of supporting or adding new tissues and replacing old one, if one can use all other tissues, then is of course a major advantage to it. This is a very rapidly moving field, and we are very grateful to have, on one hand, Jakub Hanna, who came here, and on the other hand, Ilana and Pascal Mantoux. And your support, as you'll see in a minute when we will go downstairs after this ceremony, has been very important. But who am I to say something about iPS cells? I'm a physicist, and so at this point I'd like to invite Dr. Jakub Hanna to say a few words about his own research. Thank you.
Dear friend, thank you very much for coming here on this beautiful day. I would like to welcome Ilana and Pascal Mantoux, their family and their friends, and everyone from the Weizmann family for coming here today. As you can imagine, this is a very exciting day for me. I'm very nervous. Somehow I feel like I showed up to my wedding and I didn't know about it. And I really couldn't say of perhaps a simple sentence in Hebrew, although I'm not religious, but really in Hebrew you say, Shechianu v'kimanu v'gianu layom hazeh, and this is really what I feel at this day. I was a bit, just yesterday, trying to prepare a speech and decided just to talk and a bit reflecting on my path from growing up in the Galilee in the north and studying medicine. And in 2006, when I decided to focus on research and look for a postdoctoral position in the US, I really wanted to go and change field, study mouse stem cells, human stem cells, and early development. And before making my final decision, consulting with my PhD advisor, who was a very important person and a very wise person, he told me, you shouldn't do this. You are dooming your future. You will never be able to come back to Israel. This type of research requires so much effort, so much resources, that no one can do this type of research in Israel. I still was really interested in this field and decided to do it no matter what. And 3 years later, when I was invited to come back to the Weizmann to visit, I hesitated and I thought it's never going to work out. I think they will be shocked from the stuff my research needs, but I figured I should come and interview anyways. Actually, my postdoctoral advisor was actually reluctant to send in the beginning his recommendation letter saying, I will not let you do such a terrible mistake. You should stay in the US. And afterwards, the rest is history. I came to visit. I was really drawn to this institute from the interview. And now, after a year and a half of being here at the Weizmann, I can say it's even really beats my expectations. There's something very special about the Weizmann when coming to do and start a lab. Perhaps some may relate to opening their first business or making their first law firm. It's a very scary thing. No matter how I believe in my ideas and the stuff I want to do, it's a big challenge. And it takes a lot of effort to do this. And I want to take this opportunity that in the last year and a half for putting our lab together, I'm really thankful for the Weizmann management and staff and many, many different departments that really enabled us to hit the ground running and make our lab completely operational by this time. I will talk briefly and mention that what we study is really the biology of stem cells, embryonic stem cells. These are the earliest cells in the body, and these cells have the ability to give rise to every cell type and differentiate it, whether skin or a neuron. And we basically master the art of capturing these cells in a plastic dish. We want to control them completely, every decision they make, so that we will be able to derive every cells from the embryonic stem cells. This also includes this amazing transformation that one can take from a specific patient, a skin cell, and turn it back all the way to the embryonic stage, the first cell in development that gives rise to the entire organism, and then differentiate it to any cell type we need. I take this opportunity to just briefly thank my lab members. Please, all of you stand up in the last row. They really, I couldn't ask for any better team. No matter how, when I apologize, no matter how intense and demanding I may be, really, all of them, they are much better scientists than I will ever be. And they apply different projects, and later on you will hear one of them speak in the inauguration at the Lupati Center. All of this, whether coming here, the students working on my research, really wouldn't be possible without the help and the support of Ilana and Pascal Mantoux. First, the generous contribution and the stem cell wing in which my lab resides is really top-notch, completely equipped for us to aggressively do all the experiments we believe in, and at a very competitive stage. This also allowed us, this start, to really have such a strong starting and to recruit more resources from important competitive grants from the European Union or the Barracks Foundation or the Help Me grant. So this really helped us to have a very good start and be hopefully internationally competitive. More important, I want to mention really the personal bond that I personally feel with Ilana and Pascal. I want you to know that your support is, not going very good with the words. It really means a lot to us, me and my family. I often, when I remember when being a kid, coming from school, when I get a high grade on an exam, running to my parents, and very much in the lab when we have a big result, and really my first thought is really I should tell Ilana and Pascal. Not to impress you, but it's just because we really cherish your support, the fact that you believe that we may be able one day to do something important. I modestly hope and believe that the best scientifically for our group is yet to come. And I hope that we'll be able to, with time, to really prove that we are worthy of your investment and care. Thank you very much.
So I'd like to invite Ilana and Pascal to come here on stage and to start by giving you a little scroll. The Weizmann Institute of Science hereby presents this scroll of appreciation to Ilana and Pascal Mantoux, marking the establishment of the Ilana and Pascal Mantoux Wing for Stem Cell Research, in loving tribute to their parents' memory and grateful acknowledgement of their unstinting generosity in creating a new laboratory for stem cell research and in supporting the biomedical collaboration between the Weizmann Institute of Science and the Chaim Sheba Medical Center, all for the advancement of significant research for the benefit of human health. Thank you very much, really.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel, for all your kind words. I must admit it's embarrassing. I've never heard our Ilana or my name mentioned so many times in such a short period of minutes. I guess we must have done something wrong, or maybe not. I don't know. Well, good morning to everybody. A sunny good morning. This is the first one in a while, so we'll enjoy it. Both Daniel and Jakub have been eating into my speech, so mine will be very short. I just have to scratch a few lines here and there, not to try to repeat myself. I'll take it on a different angle. I'll start with a number. 108. What can that be, 108? Well, it's the number of variety of trees that are growing on this campus. But, you know, mind you, they're not the only thing that grows here. In this Garden of Eden, it is the home of a very select community of over 2,500 people, graduate students, faculty, scientists, researchers, staffs, gardeners, all of them benefiting from a very large variety of facilities that you can walk around, you have, for many of you, and appreciate. This is truly the promised land of science, within the promised land of Eretz Israel. But what are we here for? We kind of know already what we're here for. Well, I'd like to go back a few years. About 7 years ago, we were, how could I say that, introduced to the Weizmann Institute by some very good friends, Dr. David Mirelman and Dr. Emerit Kaza, Avram Ben Naftali. Both of them very kindly suggested for us a visit to the Weizmann Institute. We had no idea, I must admit, we had no idea what the Weizmann Institute was. We were immediately captivated by its people, by its atmosphere, by its homegrown multidisciplinary culture, its vision, and its high standards of excellence. We soon became involved and shared into a series of joint biomedical projects between the Institute and the Chaim Sheba Medical Center, led by Professor Benny Geiger, involving quite a few scientists from both sides, and quite a few of those projects are still going on, as Danielle mentioned. And as our relationship developed along the years, so did our thirst to further extend our support. About 2 years ago, during a conversation we had with Israel Bar Yosef, we asked about potential projects of magnitude that the Institute might be thinking about. And Israel listened, and in his usual laid-back way, he said, you know, let me think about it, and I'll come back to you. Well, sure enough, he came back very, very quickly with a list of very interesting projects, or I should say fascinating projects, but one of them in particular caught our attention. It was one that was dedicated to stem cells research, initiated by, I'm going back in history, by a newly recruited and promising scientist who was about to join the interest. And now the rest is history. And that's why we're gathered here today, surrounded by so many friends. It's impressive, it's heartwarming, it's wonderful. And it is with a lot of emotion at this particular time that Ilana and I have the privilege of dedicating this stem cells research wing to the memory of our parents, Beatrice and Ephraim Ronat, and Arlette and Olivier Mantoux. We're very confident that they're sharing our pride in becoming partners in the advancement of stem cells research through this facility and its leader, Dr. Jakob Hanna. This lab, as was said before, and as you will see after this presentation, is a state-of-the-art facility, but not only that, it's probably one of the most sophisticated of its kind anywhere. It was set up very swiftly and is today fully operational under Jakob's Hanna leadership, together with his team of postdoc fellows, PhDs, master students, as well as senior staff. All in all, 15 women and men whom you've seen, and you will meet them, totally dedicated to the advancement of stem cells research. I will not come back on what stem cells research is. You got a card when you came in, and both Danielle and Jakob spoke about it. So just allow me to say a few words about the man behind this challenging project, Dr. Jakob Hanna. Born and raised in the Galil in the north of the country, he earned his bachelor's, his master's, his PhD, and his MD degrees in clinical medicine and immunology, graduating with top honors, from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. And for the next 5 years, as he said, he conducted postdoctoral research at MIT before joining the Department of Molecular Genetics at the Weizmann Institute in 2011. As Danielle mentioned, he's been pioneering techniques in induced pluripotent stem cells, known as iPS, not to be confused with the Israel Physical Society, and reprogramming of adult cells, which have regenerating properties almost identical to those of embryonic stem cells. Those can be created from adult cells without using any egg or fetal material. Now, I have to cut quite a few things here. So I'll get to Jakob's accomplishments. He has been, and he continues to be hailed in Israel and abroad. He was the first non-American, by the way, the first non-American graduate to receive the prestigious Novartis and later Genzyme fellowships, and then the Wolf Prize for PhD student, and then the Fools Foundation Scholarship. And in 2010, the coveted Sir Charles Core Award. In 2011, the Alon Fellowship Awards. And this year, the Israel Cancer Research Foundation and the European Research Council Career Development Awards, as well as the European Molecular Society for Young Investigator Award. In addition, his researchers have been published in some of the most prestigious multidisciplinary research magazines, among them Nature or Globe. And in concluding, during the previous 2 days, we have heard repeatedly the word family. Anyone who picked up a microphone has mentioned family. Among our conversations around lunch or coffee breaks or wherever we're together, we somehow mention the word family. Well, this word continuously prevails on this campus, as well as within the Weizmann Institute community, here and at large. And talking about family, I'd like to salute Dr. Hanna's own family. His mother is a biology teacher. His father, a pediatrician. His 3 sisters are physicians at the Rambam Hospital in Haifa, all having graduated from Hebrew University in Jerusalem. So you see, science and motivation runs through the veins of the Hanna family, just as it does within the Weizmann Institute of Science. And science, you know, science for the benefit of humanity. As a final word, Ilana and I wish to underline our ongoing commitment to the Weizmann Institute of Science, to this newly dedicated stem cells research wing, and of course, to Jakob Hanna and his team. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite Ilana and Pascal and all the guests to join me now. We are going down to the laboratory of the Hanna. We'll unveil and look at the plaque and look at the labs. And I want to remind you that just after that, the next event will take place at the new David Lopati Hall of Graduate Studies at the Feinberg Graduate School, which is on the main road of the campus. So we'll do that, and then we'll go to the middle of the campus. So thank you very much. Please join me.